Please note that the Burn It Nutrition podcast is for educational purposes only and is not meant to substitute for the advice of a doctor. Please consult your GP before using any of the techniques or products discussed on this show. Hope you like it.
Welcome to episode 13 of the Burn It Nutrition podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Navarro. On today's show, we will go into the various options of applying the keto lifestyle, and we will do this by going over the benefits and methods in the standard ketogenic diet, as well as more advanced methods like the Calorie Restricted Ketogenic diet used to fight certain cancers. And we will also be diving into the Cyclical and Targeted Ketogenic diet, used by some to build lean muscle and enhance their athletic performance. And to end this show full of golden nuggets, we will discover the keto lifestyle I found is the most effective in the body transformation. My goal with this episode is to show the many diverse applications of the keto lifestyle and how our diversity only makes the keto family that much stronger. But first, it's time for some quick announcements. If you want to transform your body, then download your copy of 5th Stage Keto. It gives you the strategies to effectively apply intermittent fasting, as well as the methods to break through those weight loss plateaus. Plus, it comes with 2 different workout methods to choose from, either the reverse pyramid training that I currently use, or the time under tension version of 5th Stage Keto. Both will include recipes to your favorite comfort foods like keto protein pancakes, keto chicken parmigiana, and even keto bacon pepperoni pizza. Just head over to burnitnutrition.com and use the coupon code BURNIT to get an additional $5 discount. I am so pleased to have you with us today. Now, let's start the show.
Burn it. You are not alone as you begin this new stage of life. Learn the strategic methods to reach your goals and flourish the light within. With our guidance, you will uncover the hidden truths that have been missing from your understanding. It's time to let it burn.
The American economist, philosopher, and writer Tyler Cowen once said, "Real cultural diversity results from the interchange of ideas, products, and influences, not from the insular development of a single national style." You see, when a group embraces its diversity and sees the unique differences in each other as a way to learn, it can bring out the strength that lasts and continues to grow and evolve. And on today's show, we will do just that by embracing the diversity in our own keto family and learning of the various ways of applying the ketogenic diet. In the fasting series, we learned that fasting can be done in many different ways, and it's up to each of us to understand our goals to see which fits us best. Well, just like there are different methods of fasting, there are also a variety of different methods of applying the ketogenic diet. The keto lifestyle is being practiced by many all over the world. While some use it for weight loss, others utilize it as a tool to fight back against diabetes or even certain cancers. Others also use it in combination with a weight training plan with the objective of enhancing their physique and aesthetics in a healthy and effective way. And the elite also have used it as a strategy to give them the advantage in their sport, whether that is breaking records in endurance racing or performing at their best in full contact and intense professional sports. And furthermore, others use it in their lifestyle of choice, their new normal, raising the bar and setting the new standard to maintain an upgraded metabolism. But how can one diet have such an array of uses in such a diverse group of people? Well, that is what we're going to learn today. We will dive into the various ways the ketogenic diet is modified to fit the many different lifestyles of the thousands that have learned its benefits. And we will do this by learning of the uses and proven health benefits of the standard ketogenic diet, as well as discussing the applications of a calorie-restricted ketogenic diet. Then we will go into the cyclical ketogenic diet and follow that with the targeted ketogenic diet, ending the show with the method I have found is the most sustainable and enjoyable version of this diet when on a mission to complete a body transformation. My hope with this episode is to show that this diet can be applied in a diverse group of individuals, even with slight modifications, as long as the foundations of the ketogenic diet remain. You see, the different groups that apply these other versions of keto, like cyclical or targeted keto, are not misguided or doing it all wrong. They simply have different goals and are in a different stage of their health journey. Remember, it's important to see our diversity as our strength. If we embrace our differences, we will be a stronger and more powerful keto family. So, let's dive into the science and learn the ways this lifestyle is helping thousands around the world. It's time to focus in and feed your brain, so put on those thinking caps and get ready, because this show will have powerful and useful information that, if applied correctly, has the possibility to greatly improve your lives. Let's take a moment to applaud your desire to learn and continue to progress. Way to stay driven and put your health as a priority. Now, I will go over a few different versions of the keto diet, but remember to keep your goals in perspective and understand that some methods will not apply to your current situation. And I will explain this further as we go along. So, let's first go over the original method, the granddaddy of them all. Let's dive into the Standard Ketogenic diet. This is the method that has been studied the most and has shown to have a large array of health benefits. It was first applied in the 1920s as a method of therapy in the treatment of epilepsy in children. They discovered that the ketogenic diet gave many of the health benefits of prolonged fasting, without having to make the children endure a fasting protocol. And it proved to be quite effective, but this natural method of treatment was set aside in the 1940s when anticonvulsant drugs were created. And now, many decades later, the ketogenic diet is beginning to gain popularity and finally making a comeback. Many people just like yourself are taking it upon themselves to learn these forgotten methods to help their various situations. So, let's take a look at the Standard Ketogenic diet, also referred to as SKD for short, and learn some of its benefits. The ketogenic diet, or keto diet, closely resembles the more well-known Atkins diet, but it differs in its reduction of protein. The main objective of the keto diet is to lower the carbs and replace them with healthy fats, shifting the body's main fuel source from sugars to fat, and allowing the body to better tap into its own fat reserves, giving it a much-needed break from constantly having to secrete the hormone insulin. It also allows the liver to begin the production of the superfuel, ketones, putting the body into a state called nutritional ketosis that can come with a large array of health benefits. So, the macronutrient breakdown of the Standard Ketogenic diet is around 75% of your calories coming from healthy fats like avocados, eggs, grass-fed butter, nuts, olive oil, and MCT oils, and 15 to 20% of fatty cuts of protein like ribeye steak, chicken legs, shrimp, and salmon, and only 5% from carbs. These are incidental carbs, mostly coming from green leafy veggies like spinach, kale, broccoli, and so on. The Standard Ketogenic diet is the go-to diet for many who are looking to heal their metabolisms, making it a great place to start, since it helps reverse some of the damage that comes with eating the standard American diet. The list of possible therapeutic uses of the Standard Ketogenic diet is long and impressive. So, let's name a few. One of the therapeutic benefits it brings on is one that is desperately needed all over the world, and that is the battle against diabetes. The keto diet is helping thousands who are affected with type 2 diabetes, and many have seen that their blood sugars begin to rapidly normalize within the first few days of beginning this lifestyle. And it makes perfect sense that dealing with the issue of high blood sugar will be alleviated with a diet that has a foundation in being low in sugar, which is why many are turning to the keto lifestyle to help their diabetes. Sadly, the mainstream advice for dealing with the issue of type 2 diabetes is to simply start taking medications and begin injecting insulin without addressing the diet. But this doesn't fix the underlying issue. The keto diet is so effective at dropping blood sugar and insulin levels that diabetics that are on blood sugar medications need to work with their doctor before starting the keto diet to ensure their medication is reduced to avoid issues of hypoglycemia. The ability to reduce and eventually maybe even stop the need to take blood sugar medication is a possibility many diabetics never considered a real possibility. Well, the standard ketogenic diet may help get them there when applied correctly and with consistency. Blood pressure is another issue that can rapidly begin to normalize within days of starting the keto lifestyle, which also needs to be monitored by your doctor to lower medications for these folks as well. How great is the thought of going back to your doctor to have your medications reduced instead of leaving with more and more prescriptions with every visit? The ketogenic diet is a perfect example of the quote said by one of the fathers of medicine, Hippocrates, who said, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." Now, another benefit of the standard ketogenic diet is in the lowering of triglycerides. It has been seen that elevated triglycerides in the blood have an increased risk of heart disease. What is surprising to many is discovering that the overconsumption of carbohydrates, especially fructose, has the biggest impact on these levels of triglycerides, not fat. Many would assume that a diet high in fat would lead to higher levels of trigs, but the latest research is showing that the excess carbs and refined sugars are the real culprit. You see, the body has a very limited storage space for sugars, and once those limits are exceeded, we'll begin the process called de novo lipogenesis that converts the sugar into triglycerides to be stored in the fat cells. So, simply join the keto family and see those trigs fall to their optimum levels, which is under 100 milligrams per deciliter. The keto lifestyle will also increase the so-called good cholesterol, called HDL, which has been shown that the higher the HDL levels, the lower the risk of heart disease. Another factor that improves is the LDL cholesterol by shifting to a fluffy and less atherogenic pattern A instead of the small and dense pattern B. I go further into this topic of cholesterol in episode 4. These are just a few of the benefits, but there are plenty more that can be seen when applying the keto lifestyle. Others have also seen a reduction in heartburn, acne, migraines, and sugar cravings. It is also showing to help with Alzheimer's, which we covered in episode 7. As you can see, these benefits go far beyond just weight loss, which is why this diet is showing to be one of the healthiest ways to live. And yes, the cherry on top is increased weight loss. And as we mentioned before, insulin is the fat storage hormone, and this diet helps keep this hormone low enough to allow the body to burn its own fat reserves more easily. Plus, it helps burn the most dangerous type of body fat, called visceral fat. This is the fat that is deep inside the abdomen, the type of fat that surrounds the essential organs needed for survival. The less dangerous fat is called subcutaneous fat, which is directly under the skin. You can notice a difference by the firmness of the belly. I'm sure we've all seen older men with those really big and round bellies that seem really firm. Their big and round firm bellies is probably because they have accumulated this more dangerous fat that is deep within the abdominal cavity, opposed to softer bellies that have fat just under the skin. That's the stubborn fat that's hard to lose, since it's the fat reserves that the body likes to have in case of a famine. Well, the keto lifestyle helps burn this inner fat, helping reduce the dangers that come along with it, like insulin resistance and increased inflammation. the standard ketogenic diet really is a great option to help bring your body back to where it likes to be. This is the way the body has evolved to live, and when applied correctly, can have great benefits. But remember, we are all different with a variety of set goals. So let's go further into other methods of the ketogenic diet that are being used to help more serious circumstances, like the battle against cancer. As the years go on, it seems that more and more people are being affected with some type of cancer. It may not be you, but I'm sure we all know someone who is or has battled with cancer. But it wasn't always like this. Cancer wasn't so widespread as it is now. So what has changed? Well, a lot of things. Like our environment, the chemicals used in products, and the highly processed foods many eat are all playing their part. You see, many believe that cancer was mainly hereditary, meaning it's passed along in the genes that you were born with. But why the sudden drastic increase in the last few decades? Did everyone's genes all of a sudden decide to activate these hereditary cancer genes? I don't think so. You see, the genetic mutations that can lead to cancers from the genes you were born with only apply to about 5 to 10% of cancer cases. And it seems to be that epigenetics may also play a role. Epigenetics looks into the changes in gene expression, where changes are seen in the way a cell performs and develops, and factors like the surrounding environment, lifestyle, and diet of an individual all have an effect on the outcome of a cell. Now, understanding all the various cancers and their risks can get pretty complex, especially since some cancers are sporadic and occur at what seems at random. But one thing that is understood is that cancers can thrive on sugar, especially certain brain cancers, which is where strategies like the ketogenic diet come into play. But for these individuals who are in the midst of a battle to survive, a standard ketogenic diet may sometimes not be enough. For them, a calorie-restricted ketogenic diet may be a better option. You see, there are various pathways that feed cancer cells. Factors like the hormones IGF-1 and insulin, as well as glucose and the amino acid glutamine, all can be used to feed certain cancer cells, which is why applying a fasting protocol that strengthens the immune system and lowers all of these is helpful in battle against cancer. Plus, many have seen that combining a keto lifestyle and a fasting protocol helps improve the results and symptoms that come with chemotherapy. But not everyone is capable of applying a fasting protocol, which is where a calorie-restricted ketogenic diet comes into play. Let me explain. One of the common weaknesses cancer cells have is their broken mitochondria. Remember, mitochondria are the energy factories within healthy cells that allow them to use different fuel sources. Healthy, normal cells can use oxygen, sugar, fats, and ketones to make energy. But cancerous cells are unable since they have defective mitochondria. Thus, by shifting into a diet that drastically lowers sugar and switches to using healthy fats and ketones for energy will be a helpful weapon to fight back with. But sometimes even additional measures need to be considered. You see, cancer cells have developed various methods to get energy, one of which is the amino acid glutamine. So, it would seem that a keto diet that also accounts for glutamine could have even better effects. Now, as we have mentioned in other episodes, attempting a diet that restricts calories will be less stressful when applied with a ketogenic diet. And one of the leading researchers in the therapeutic benefits of the ketogenic diet on cancer is Dr. Dominic D'Agostino. He put it this way: the ketogenic diet is, I think, a very good strategy to make calorie restriction tolerable. Because when your brain, in particular, is craving glucose, and say, for example, you go on a calorie-restricted diet, but it's a high carbohydrate diet, you're still getting fluctuations in blood glucose. Your brain goes through these intermittent periods of glucose deprivation, and you get very hungry. And it's not a very comfortable feeling. So, friends, it makes sense that to avoid this issue, one can simply shift into a keto diet that avoids the roller coaster rise and falls of a high-carb diet and maintains a stable blood sugar that keeps insulin down and helps the body tap into its own fat reserves, blunting hunger and making it easier to restrict your caloric consumption. Dr. D'Agostino and the research he is working on has the capability to help thousands. In his research, he did an animal study where he combined the ketogenic diet with hyperbaric oxygen therapy that they administered 3 times per week. And this combo showed to have even better results when the 2 therapies were combined. You see, cancerous tumors thrive and do very well in low oxygen environments. Environments with decreased oxygen levels called hypoxia helps the spread of cancers by sparking oncogenes, which are genes that can mutate into cancer. So applying a hyperbaric oxygen therapy that puts these cancer cells in a high pressure and oxygen-rich environment will further weaken them, since they don't have the healthy mitochondria to survive. It's a pretty interesting way to add high-tech weaponry to the battle, and another tool to add to your toolbox. Now, there's still much to learn in the way a keto diet can be used to help cancer, and as new research comes out, I will do my best to keep you updated. Also, remember that there are many different types of cancers, and not all work the same, of course. So it's crucial to work with your oncologist to find what's best for each individual. Just remember that most doctors aren't taught the benefits of a ketogenic diet. Unfortunately, doctors like Dr. D'Agostino are few and far between. So if possible, try to find a doctor that is trained in the ways a ketogenic diet can be applied as a therapy. You can look to websites like primaldocs.com to see if there are any in your area. Keep in mind that many cancer doctors may feel that diet has very little effects on their treatment, which is why you see junk food and other sugary drinks and foods at many of the oncology clinics and hospitals. But hopefully, as more and more people begin to learn of the benefits of a low-carb or keto lifestyle, we can begin to see the use of the keto diet to help fight the battle against cancer. This brings us to our next version of the ketogenic diet, and that is Cyclical Ketogenic Diet, also called CKD. This method has been used by serious bodybuilders since it has the ability to bring on increased muscle mass. The origins of this method of keto go back to Dr. Mauro Di Pasquale and his anabolic diet, which set the foundations for the cyclical ketogenic diet. Now, before I explain this version of keto, I want to remind you that these next methods may not be the best for you. Remember, we are all at different stages of our journey to health, and so the version of keto a more advanced athlete can apply won't be ideal for someone who is just starting their own keto journey. I'll explain this further, but first, let's better understand what the cyclical ketogenic diet is. So, cyclical keto is a method that applies longer periods of being in ketosis with shorter periods of higher carb days. The most common are 1-week cycles where one applies the keto lifestyle during the week and switches to a higher carb diet during the weekend. The other method is a 2-week cycle where you stay in ketosis for about 12 days and have your carb refeeds at the end of week 2. Now again, CKD is not ideal for most, especially if you're new to keto. You see, it's best to give your metabolism a chance to heal from the damage of the standard American diet. So it's best to stick with keto for at least 3 months before any type of cyclical keto is even considered. This gives your body time to adjust to the new fuel supply and upregulate the enzymes that utilize the fats as fuel, which occurs once you're fat adapted. You see, if one tries cyclical keto before these changes occur, may halt or even prevent their ability to shift engines. The 3 months spent applying keto will help reduce insulin resistance and increase insulin sensitivity, which we explained in episode 3. Plus, many who have issues controlling food binges won't do well with CKD. since it may just lead to more uncontrollable binges. So, once you have healed your metabolism, controlled your eating habits, and gotten closer to your goals, is when applying a cyclical ketogenic diet will be okay. In my ebook, 5th Stage Keto, I go over how to do this. So, for those who have already adjusted to the keto lifestyle and are also doing very intense training, they may find that the cyclical keto can be useful. Again, the 1-week cycle is useful for bodybuilders who do very intense training and want to build lean muscle while reducing fat accumulation. But there is a but. And that is that very intense training is crucial and needed, or else you won't deplete the glycogen stores fast enough to get back into ketosis before the next carb up cycle comes around. So, CKD can be very effective for the right person. Remember, some bodybuilders are beasts and have lots of muscle with training sessions that last for hours and even twice a day. Their routine and set goals may require them to add a bit more carb ups, helping them train harder, which can help their desired results for muscle gains. Many have also found that CKD can bring on some good perks when applied correctly. They can be especially useful for women to help them keep a high-functioning thyroid. Plus, CKD can make the keto lifestyle more sustainable, since it allows days to enjoy birthdays and other special events that involve social eating. I've found that the 2-week cycle is the better out of the two, since it gives you more days in ketosis while still giving you the benefits of a carb up. But again, this also depends on how hard you train. Now, for the best results with CKD, you want to use real whole food sources of carbs like sweet potatoes, quinoa, white rice. Cyclical keto shouldn't be an excuse to scarf down those Twinkies. Sorry to say that, but it's true. Now, I want to emphasize that CKD isn't smart when just starting a body transformation, since it has the slowest rate of fat loss. Understand that first you need to heal your metabolism before cyclical keto will be useful. Also, this is not the version of keto to use if you're trying to heal your body from the effects of diabetes or severely overweight, since you most likely have to reduce your insulin resistance. Cyclical keto is for those that have intense physique goals and have already healed their metabolism, or are in maintenance mode and using keto as a long-term lifestyle. This brings us to our next method of applying the keto lifestyle, and that is with the use of a targeted ketogenic diet. This is a very useful tool for elite athletes who want the benefits of being in a keto lifestyle, but still need to perform at very high levels for their sport. For example, some professional sprinters, football or soccer players, and even college athletes have found that targeted keto gives them that extra push to keep their performance at elite levels, to be able to compete in their sports, and still have the many health benefits of the ketogenic diet. So, how does this version of keto work? Well, the idea is that they apply a keto lifestyle, but right before they begin their workout or sporting event, they consume fast-acting carbs, which help fuel their long and intense training. They do this before each workout, and the reason they still can get the benefits of the keto lifestyle is that their workouts or sport is so long and intense that the carbs consumed will be used and burned very rapidly, so that their body can easily shift back into ketosis after the training is complete. Now again, this doesn't apply to all. In the fasting series, I went over how I did fasted workouts and only consumed exogenous ketones plus some BCAAs without the use of carbs, since my goal was fat burning. I am not an elite athlete that has to perform at my best to earn a living or maintain a scholarship. But I do fasted training for its health benefits and increased fat oxidation. So, some of these elite athletes would apply targeted keto by taking fast-acting simple sugars to help give them that spark of energy they need. And they do this by consuming dextrose and maltodextrin, which are fast-burning sugars. Or some just eat sugary candies like sweet tarts, nerds, or gummy bears. But honestly, I just don't feel right recommending this since it just doesn't make sense that such an elite athlete with high-functioning engines would fuel up with such cheap fuel sources. So, as I researched this topic, I discovered a product that has made some impressive modifications to create an upgraded carb source that I feel can be a much better option for elite athletes using targeted ketogenic diets. And that is the product UCAN Superstarch. So, let's learn about it. This is a product that is praised by one of the leaders in low-carb performance, and that is Dr. Jeff Volek. So, it caught my attention. Now, what is UCAN Superstarch? Well, the makers of this product have a patented formula where organic, non-GMO cornstarch is taken through a process of extreme heat and water, which changes the starch into an oversized and gigantic glucose polymer, some up to 20,000 times bigger than what is normally seen in nature. Due to its size and weight, it causes this superstarch to rapidly leave the stomach, which helps reduce many of the digestive issues that are felt by endurance runners. And once leaving the stomach, it goes into the intestines where it is very slowly released into the bloodstream, allowing a long and steady flow of energy. Now, why is this beneficial? Well, it allows a steady supply of glucose without the spike in insulin, allowing the body to still tap into its own fat reserves, essentially being a true hybrid engine. Did you get that? Guys, this is a big deal. Remember, marathon runners bonk when they run out of glycogen and can't tap into their fat reserves due to the high insulin secretion that occurs when gulping down those sugars and goos and sodas. And we know that when insulin is high, fat oxidation and eventual ketone production is shut off. But this doesn't seem to be the case with UCAN Superstarch. Others have even noticed that their ability to stay in ketosis after taking this superstarch. But then again, I think that your level of insulin resistance will play a part here. Meaning if you're not an elite athlete with optimum levels of insulin sensitivity, then it may knock you out of ketosis for longer. Again, TKD is not for everyone. But still, Generation UCAN is a revolutionary product. And if I'm going to recommend a carb source for targeted ketogenic diets to you, my lovely listener, it's going to be one I'm impressed with. And the more I learned about UCAN, the more I saw that it was pretty awesome. So of course, I wanted to try it out. Remember, knowledge alone isn't power, but the application of knowledge. So, I decided to do my own N=1 experiment to see the effects. I wanted to see how taking the superstarch would affect my training performance, which led me to discover what I feel is the best 1-2 punch for pre-workout nutrition for optimal performance of an elite athlete. And this is what I did. As I said in episode 12, I have been doing fasted training for some time now with the use of exogenous ketones, where I play a pickup soccer game, then follow that with my weight training at the gym. So, I wanted to see which method gave me the best performance. Again, this was not to see which gave me the best fat burning, it was to see which allowed me to put out the best effort while staying in the guidelines of a targeted ketogenic diet. Okay, so listen up, because what I discovered is a game changer. So, on day 1 of my experiment, I took my exogenous ketones with my branched chain amino acids, my BCAAs, and like I said before, I felt great. The rapid energy I get from exogenous ketones helps me stay focused and play at my best, without the need for carbs. This method has helped me in my own body transformation, and I love it. But let's say I was an elite athlete at the prime of my physical abilities, and I wanted to give myself the best competitive advantage. Well, this is where UCAN came into the play. So, on day 2 of my experiment, I left out Keto OS and took a full dose of UCAN Superstarch, 45 minutes before my workout. I also tested my blood sugar right before I took it, and it was at 85 milligrams per deciliter, which is perfect. I didn't get a chance to test my ketones since I just ran out of strips, but blood sugar levels are on their own a helpful marker to measure. So, then I tested again right before I started my workout, and it rose to 110 milligrams per deciliter. which isn't that bad when you compare it to other products used to carb up for TKD. Plus, I'm sure the effect on blood sugar would be even less on someone who wasn't close to 300 pounds less than 2 years ago. You see, even though I've lost over 60 pounds of pure fat, my insulin sensitivity is still not at optimum levels that someone who has been in great shape for most of their lives, like an elite athlete would usually be. So, for the results of day 2, I would say that this method, where I just took UCAN, was good. I felt steady energy, but I felt I was missing that spark. You see, while it did give me sustained energy, I didn't feel that jolt or rapid energy, which UCAN does say that their product gives you sustained energy, not necessarily rapid, powerful energy. This made me put on my thinking cap, and I decided to try a third experiment, where I combined the sustained energy of UCAN Superstarch with the rapid superfuel energy that I get from my exogenous ketones. And wow, was that a game changer. I feel this is one of the best methods of pre-workout supplementation. I had never had a workout like that. I truly was impressed with this combo. So, this is what I did for day 3. I took the UCAN Superstarch 45 minutes prior to my training. Then, 15 minutes later, I took half the dose of my charged Keto OS as well as my BCAAs. Then, I poured the other half into a 40-ounce super cooled container with ice and used that as my intra-workout fuel that I had at halftime and during my weight training session. And by the time I laced up my cleats to play, I had what I feel is one of the most advanced methods of fueling a body to perform at the highest of levels while still keeping long-term health as a priority. Applying the latest advancements in science to give me an advantage and allow my body and mind to be at their best. This was my N=1 experiment with the targeted ketogenic diet, and I plan to continue to experiment with this 1-2 combo in my workouts to see how it does when it comes to fat loss, and I will definitely keep you posted. Now, I love my fasted workouts, but it's important to continue to learn and evolve, and there is nothing wrong with trying different methods. I want to see what a few more weeks of this 1-2 combo will do for me. Hey, you can always try your own N=1 experiment. If you're an elite athlete with long and intense workouts, then maybe consider trying this combination and see how it makes you feel. Maybe you have hit a stall with your training and want to switch things up. So, consider this combo as another tool for your toolbox. And you can go to burnitnutrition.com to try it out. This leads us to our last method of the ketogenic diet, and that is the method applied in 5th stage keto. This is what I feel is one of the most sustainable, enjoyable, and effective methods of applying a ketogenic diet when your goal is achieving a body transformation, giving you the combination for impressive fat loss while building just enough lean muscle to give you the most attractive physique. The 5th stage keto method has a macronutrient breakdown of 65% healthy fats, 25 to 30% protein, and 10% carbs. These macros are only a slight change from the standard ketogenic diet. The slight increase in protein is very helpful, especially since 5th stage keto involves RPT and TUT training plans. And this slight increase in protein helps the rebuilding and recovery of lean muscle fibers. Plus, protein has the biggest impact on your feelings of hunger, helping you further blunt those hunger pains. Now, the foundation and emphasis of providing quality healthy fats is still applied, just like the standard ketogenic diet. And the 5% increase in carbs gives you a bit more breathing room. But this doesn't mean that junky processed carbs are back on the menu. No, sir. Those are still not weight loss friendly. The added carbs will give you the ability to add more diversity in your veggies. Now, you can have big salads without having to leave some of the best health foods, like carrots. You see, the drastic reduction of carbs on a standard ketogenic diet calls for even carrots to have a bit too much starch. But this slight increase used in 5th stage keto allows you to have 1 or 2 carrots giving you access to its vital nutrients. Carrots really are one of the best superfoods since they provide much needed fiber, vitamin K, potassium, plus they give us that crunch we all love. They also help provide beta-carotene, which converts into vitamin A that is really good for our eyesight. Haven't you ever noticed that the inside of a carrot looks like an iris? Pretty awesome, right? It still fascinates me when nature shows us examples of what a certain foods are good for. So, adding more veggies to your diet will provide your body with the micronutrients it needs to maintain a high-functioning metabolism. And when you combine healthy fats, good protein, and a diversity of veggies, while still avoiding the highly refined sugars, is where the magic happens. And the cherry on top is supplementing with exogenous ketones. They help raise the ketones in your body, giving you that extra advantage. So, applying 5th stage keto correctly, plus including the addition of the superfuel that exogenous ketones can provide, will help set you up to see the biggest changes in body composition, giving you the ability to more easily sustain a keto lifestyle and bring out a more upgraded version of yourself. So, friends, I hope you realize that I'm giving you golden nuggets here. Now it's just up to you to take action. And you can go to burnitnutrition.com to learn how to effectively reach 5th stage keto. We have now reached the segment of the show where we stop focusing on our diversity and talk about what we all have in common, and that is the love of yummy food. So what's on the menu today? Well, today, we are making a warm and soothing keto chicken soup. And to do this, we will be using a slow cooker, also called a crock pot. Slow cookers are an essential tool to any kitchen. It really doesn't get easier than making a meal in a slow cooker. Simply put all the ingredients, set the timer, and then you're free to go about your day. I have a link to the one I use in the recommendations page of the Burn It Nutrition website. So, here's what you need to make this yummy dish that can feed the whole family. You will need 2 pounds of boneless chicken breast, 4 tablespoons of butter, 1 yellow onion, 2 tomatoes, 2 carrots, 2 sticks of celery, 1 jalapeno, 2 cloves of garlic, 1.5 teaspoons of dried thyme, 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 1 tablespoon of cumin, half teaspoon of paprika, salt and pepper to taste, and also 4 cups of chicken stock, and 2 large avocados, pitted and sliced. So, here's what you do. Wash and pat dry the chicken, then place the chicken at the bottom of the crock pot, along with the butter, and add the 4 cups of chicken stock. Then, add the spices and seasonings, as well as the crushed garlic, and cover it, setting the timer for 2 hours on high heat. While that cooks, chop your veggies. Then, once the 2 hours is up, add the chopped veggies to the slow cooker. Cover it and cook on high heat for about another 2 hours. Then, once it is ready, serve it in a bowl and add a few slices of avocado, as well as some cilantro for garnish. And top it off with some shredded cheese. I love cheese. So good. Plus, you can have it with some pork rinds for some added crunch. I don't know about you, but this sounds like a diet I can stick to. Well, this brings us to the end of episode 13 of the Burn It Nutrition podcast. My desire with this episode was to show you the many different options that are available when deciding to join the keto family. We may all have different goals and be in different stages of our journey to health, but one similarity we may all agree on is that the standard American diet is not working for any of us. The negative side effects of the Western method of eating is starting to be seen all over the world, and I think it's about time we change that. Understand that there are many options when making this change in lifestyle, and it's up to the individual, or sometimes even their doctor, to see which is best for them, especially when dealing with serious issues like diabetes and cancer. Now, for the rest of us, we will continue to find the best ways to achieve our fitness goals and continue to support the companies that are funding the right research and bringing us the true advancements in nutrition. They have given us the ability to get closer to our goals, and I am excited to see what else they bring in the coming years. Also, don't forget to add me on Instagram under Burn It Nutrition. I recently posted my before and after pictures, and it's pretty impressive, not gonna lie. Also, don't forget to share this episode with anyone who you think it would help. Maybe a friend who is struggling with their weight, or maybe your teammate who wants to upgrade their pre-workout nutrition, or even someone battling diabetes or cancer. It's always good to hear all possible options when in those darkest of hours. So, I thank you for listening to this show. I put a lot of work into it in hopes of helping others. Believe it or not, I had never stepped in front of a microphone before recording episode 1 of this podcast. And I'm still working on getting better and finding my groove, but I feel it's coming along nicely. My goal is to make a show that I personally would want to listen to when starting a health journey, which brings me to our review of the week, which is from Lilix, new to keto, and she wrote, "Being someone who has been very overweight for years now and has tried every diet under the sun with no long-term results, I had been wanting to try keto but didn't know where to begin. One day, I thought, hey, maybe there's a podcast that can get me started, and I found Burn It Nutrition. Honestly, after listening to the whole podcast in one day while at work, I was so pumped and motivated. Joseph's voice has that effect on you." "Ah, well thanks." She goes on to say, "I made a grocery haul and prepped for 1 week of keto. My thoughts were, let's see what 1 week of dedication on keto can get you. And I am proud to say that I am down 4 pounds in just 1 week and ready for the next week to come. Thank you, Joseph. Keep up the great work. You're changing lives. P.S. I've told everybody that would listen about your podcast." Wow. Thank you, Lilix. Waking up to that was pretty special. I thank you for taking the time to write those truly kind words. They made my week. And I applaud you for taking action and accepting the challenge to better yourself. Stay with it and keep pressing forward with each new day. So, friends, if you like this show and if you felt it helped you, then the least you can do is write us an honest review on iTunes. Simply search for the Burn It Nutrition podcast, then write me a message of what this show did for you. And if I like it, I will put it out on the air for all the interwebs to hear. Well, I hope you join us on the next episode. It's never the same if you're not here. Now brace yourself, because it's time to let it burn.